Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and here I am to talk about the federal election in Canada. Now I wasn't going to make this video, but you could tell by the thumbnail, Alberta needs to vote Liberal. Okay? We just do. Now I know people are going to freak out already commenting down below, you're blah 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 blah. Well, let me explain a little something that's happened over the last 10 years. Why I am now a liberal redneck instead of a conservative redneck, because I'm a redneck. And everyone goes, well, you don't exist. Well, yeah, we're all over the place. So, and you also need to know, I have been a part of PAC committees, political action committees, or lobby committees, to get certain things done in government that the government doesn't want to do, but is to beneficial to where I live. The big thing I could talk about stopping the toxic waste dump that the Red Deer County wanted to put next to Pine Lake in 1981 that would have destroyed Pine Lake in central Alberta with toxins. I mean, we're talking the most disgusting stuff that should be recycled correctly, not stuck in a landfill. And I went door to door in 1982 with 20% interest rates and 15% unemployment and $7 oil and asked for $1,000 to stop them. We did stop them. I met Ralph Klein many times as environmental minister. We took them to court. My parents mostly, and everyone else. I was young at the time. And that was my first experience of dealing with government that where logic had nothing to do with anything. How would you put a dump site next to the watershed of a lake? There's lots of places you could have done it that would have had no effect, but no, they thought clay in an environment that goes to minus 40 would do the job. Well, we got it stopped. And there's still a sign there. I could show people where it is. It's all fenced off and there's a sign there. It's still owned by the county, and it's just rusting out. Nothing's in there because we stopped it. Now, could you imagine if that happened? There'd be no lake. We don't have a lot of lakes here. There'd be no lake. So why should you vote Liberal in the next election? And if I could, honestly, I would drive a line from the north to the south. Eastern Alberta can be conservative, and Western Alberta can be Liberal. And we should do that in every federal election, but Albertans don't seem to understand. I've lobbied government, I've been on committees, I've been on boards, and when you go and ask for something with the government and you have no seats in the federal government, this is where Quebec, Ontario, the Maritimes, British Columbia, everybody but Alberta and Saskatchewan, every other province does this. We're the only ones that don't. We're blue. And the Conservatives take advantage of us and have us sit at the little boys' table whenever anything is happening, because we never have people in government. Doesn't matter who the government is. There's never anybody there. And I'm like, well, maybe if I make a video and explain to Albertans why they need to vote Liberal, even though their ignorance, their redneckness, their Nazism, their authoritative, I will never do that. I will vote for the mushroom. That's 27% of the population, by the way. Will always vote whatever party they think they should vote, regardless of who the person is. Go look at the United States right now. They had an excellent choice. They had the Build Back Better bill that was getting factories built and everything that they needed done without the government actually spending any money. It was working. The only problem was food inflation. And there's a reason for food inflation. But I'm not going to get into that now because I live in Canada and our food inflation is mostly caused by a weak dollar. And the obvious choice, Mark Carney, isn't going to have a weak dollar anymore because the guy knows how to get it stronger. So let's give a little bit of history here why I think you should do that. And there's one really big one, so I'm going to start off with the big one right away. Are you ready? Transmountain pipeline. The federal government, our illustrious former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who everyone hates here because They think he was going to come and steal their wives, or I don't know what. I mean, I've never seen so many people hate somebody for no reason. Built Alberta the Transmountain pipeline. I don't understand why nobody in this province says thank you. You don't have to like the guy, but why are you not saying thank you? Well, let me give you the numbers on the Transmountain pipeline. It was built by the federal Liberal government, approved by the Liberal government, bought by the Liberal government, and they spent whatever, report you want to see. They keep up in the number, even though they're taking lawsuits into account because they get sued every day. And it's why it's owned by the government, because no business could handle the multiple lawsuits that come in. Transmountain pipeline, this is how it has benefited Alberta mostly. 99%, a little bit Saskatchewan. Okay, but mostly 100% Alberta. Here we are in Alberta, and people don't want to vote Liberal. And I'm like, why do you want to vote for Polyev the Nazi? And he is a Nazi. Look up Nazi, look at what he says. Thank you. This puts, are you ready? $25 a barrel more for every barrel sold in Alberta in my pocket. That's right. I own a little piece of an oil company, and I have 2 oil wells. My production per month, there's 10 of us that bought them, is only 100 barrels a month. Okay? Times 25. We are getting, right now today, $25 a barrel more than we were last year at this time because of the Transmountain pipeline. This pipeline moves 800,000 barrels a day to the West Coast and ships it out to the world. Because of that, we don't get screwed over by the Americans anymore, because all they want to do is buy our oil cheap and keep us under the thumb. Okay? And Albertans are not smart enough to understand that. So here we go. Well, how does that benefit everyone? The government just takes it all, right? Well, if you believe the Conservatives and the Toronto Star or any of these right-wing type people, they'll show you no benefit. But I'm going to tell you what the benefit is. Alberta produces, and I'm going to round this down, just to give all the engineers and accountants out there something to talk about. 4 million barrels a day. That's how many million barrels a day Alberta produces. Okay? 4 million. We are now getting $25 a barrel more than we were last year at this time. So how much money is that? $100 million a day. How much? Oh, the government's taking it. No. The government's getting nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is how great this is. And I don't understand how Albertans and people in Saskatchewan don't get this. Actually, anyone that produces oil anywhere in Canada doesn't get this. That's $100 million a day extra going to companies. It's not going to the provincial government. It's not going to the federal government. It's not going to the municipal government. It's not going to anybody but people like me that run a company. And I'm getting $2,500 a month more because I've just got 2 little wells that we're doing an experimental thing on to see if the production can come up. Me and 9 of my friends. Okay? To see if we can get the production on. And we went out and got all this money together to see if this would work. Now, that's $36.5 billion a year. Did you hear me? Add this up. $36.5 billion a year are now going to Albertans. People like me and you and you over there that got a company, and you over there that's got a company, and the big ones, Cenovus, Shell, Imperial Oil, blah blah, Whitecap, you name it, just to Tourmaline, you can go on and on and on. They're all getting $25 more a barrel than they were a year ago because Transmountain is running. And if they want to sell Transmountain, as long as all lawsuits go through the federal government and I don't have to pay for them, I'll buy that for whatever amount of money they want. Want 25, 30, 35, $40 billion? I don't care. Transmountain Pipeline makes a profit of $3.6 billion a year and it goes to the federal government. So, and I'm paying the fee because my oil is going through there. So $36.5 billion going to people, not government. And that is why we are booming in Alberta. That is why people are moving to Alberta. That's why people are spending money here, building homes, building skyscrapers, building rentals, building. More building, more building. And all the building and everything that's going on has nothing to do with oil and natural gas. That's right. Because of, that bill they passed that everyone in this province hates Liberals over, they just complain. But all this money's coming in. I don't understand. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think the whole province should go Liberal. I don't, and like I said at the beginning, half and half. Gotta have a seat at the table. The second thing we need to talk about, remember, the Conservatives never did anything for a pipeline. Nothing. Even when they could, they didn't do it. Even though they could, Harper did nothing. The guys at mamby-pamby also ran that just took advantage of Alberta. As far as I'm concerned, worst. Absolute worst. Second, guess what else the federal Liberal government did for us here in Alberta? Just Alberta. Are you ready? Well, it was only a little bit federal Liberals. I shouldn't give them as much credit as I do, but they could have stopped it. The BC Liberal government, NDP government, NDP and BC are really Liberals, approved LNG Canada, approved the Coastal Link pipeline, approved a pipeline from Alberta, and made sure there were loan guarantees and made sure that this has got done. This is Liberals, people, not Conservatives. The Conservatives didn't want anything to do with it. Oh, well, let business take care of it. Well, guess what? Business couldn't take care of it, and if it wasn't for the government stepping in and making sure LNG Canada happened, $40 billion project comes online July 2025. And guess what, Alberta? We produce, again, natural gas is not traded in gigajoules, but I'm going to use gigajoules because everybody knows what that is. Okay, that's not how it's traded. A gigajoule is slightly less how it's traded, but let's just use gigajoules. We produce 14 billion gigajoules of natural gas a year, and for the last 4 years, we have averaged $1.65 a gigajoule, which is pathetic. Why? Because we have no way to move that gas to where it needs to go. That's right. Again, our American friends got our thumb on us, and the pumpkinhead down in the United States doesn't understand the benefit. But he's going to find out, because LNG is coming online, and guess what? Natural gas in Alberta is not going to be low under $2 anymore. It's going to go to $4 a gig, approximately, this time next year. For sure. Because our excess natural gas, LNG, baby. And there's an LNG expansion that they're talking about, another $31 billion. Quite frankly, I mean, it's just crazy numbers. But if you can't get it somewhere else to ship it around the world, you're going to have to do it through Kitimat. So that's just the way it is. BC is going to benefit from this. But again, I will stand up. I will buy this in a second. They want $50 billion for that project. I'll buy it. They want $60 billion. I'll buy it. You don't understand the amount of money that's going to be made through these pipelines and these projects. People need natural gas. It's just all there is to it. One of the reasons that Albertans hate the Liberals, not all of us, but a lot of people, is they don't understand how things work, even though they're in the business. 50% of all the jobs in this province are oil and natural gas, and I don't care what anyone says, it's still 50%. Because I sell real estate for a living, and that's what it is. So there's the two reasons to vote Liberal, but that's not even the biggest reason. I mean, Transmountain is the number one reason. I mean, for 2 federal elections, you should vote Liberal. And say thank you for putting $36.5 billion into our economy And nothing to the feds for that, nothing to the province for that. Well, they get a little more royalties. Nothing to the municipal for that, nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Into people's pockets, pay their debt off, go and do things, buy a house, buy a car, do whatever you want. Whatever you want to do with it, I don't care. Invest it around the world, woohoo, wee. Okay? The last one I want to talk about is irrigation. And our federal government, Liberals, does not get any benefit out of what happened in southern Alberta way back in 2018 and 2020 and 2021. There was an expansion of the Southern Irrigation District. It totaled approximately, I know people are going to go online and try and Google all this, but I was there. $985 million from the Federal Infrastructure Bank run by the Liberal government for irrigation expansion in Alberta. Now, don't get me wrong, we have 3 more projects that I'm trying to lobby to get done. I'm on a PAC committee. I'm trying to get this done. Actually, I should take that back. The PAC committee has been shut down because there's a federal election, and we don't know which way it's going to go, depending who gets in. If Polyev the Nazi gets in, this is dead. There will be no money for irrigation. There will be nothing. Absolutely nothing. If the Liberals get in, which I'm pretty sure they're going to, then we can start it back up again, because I think we can get some federal money to get the Western Irrigation District expansion done, the Eastern Irrigation expansion, there's 2 there, and there's another Southern Irrigation expansion that needs to be done. But our wonderful federal government gave Alberta $985 million to expand the Southern District, put 206,000 acres under irrigation. And if you really want, you can type in CBC Farmers for last fall in 2024, where they featured people that were young farmers making a lot of money on sugar beets, corn, soybeans, and potatoes. That's all irrigation from the federal government. Provincial government threw in a little bit, but that was mostly NDP leftovers that the Jason Kenney took credit for, and that's fine. He got in. The money got transferred when he was in. Even though it got approved before then. Take credit for it. You should. You could have stopped it. But of course, it didn't make any sense, because everyone down there votes crazy right-wing conservatives because they're brainwashed. They're that 27%, by the way. Both sides of the spectrum, not just doing conservatives here. 27% of people will vote conservative if it's a mushroom. 27% of the people will vote liberal even though it's a mushroom. Okay? That's just how it works. Okay? So these 3 things have happened in the last 10 years. Our wonderful Prime Minister, I don't know why the personal attacks were the number one thing. I know the Bill C-36, I think it was. Alberta is just like all the business people, all they do is quote, 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 and that's why they hate him. And that's why they put money into social media and all these people doing videos of why he's so bad. I want to say thank you. Yes, I agree. The carbon tax at $10 a ton was fair. Nobody cared. 2.4 cents a liter and 50 cents a gigajoule was the tax. That's it. It wasn't on electricity or anything else. Well, guess what? That was doable with efficiencies and a few other things. You never paid that. There were no rebates, and that's where it should have stayed. But once again, this is where government programs go too far. They had to boondoggle that up to $80 a ton and then offer rebates. Well, that was it. You were over. You didn't get it. I was sending letters. I was on a committee. Please stop at $10. $10 is fair. We can all work with it. But you had to keep it going. So now it's gone. And it should stay permanently gone. $10 a ton is fair. No one else does it in the whole world. Anything more than that, you're out. And Polyev the Nazi gets in, and he is a Nazi. And I've said it 3 or 4 times so people understand who you're voting for. You blame immigrants. Isn't it wonderful? They don't pick a group like the Nazis did in just before World War II. They picked the Jews and went after them. Now they say immigrants. Immigrants is your problem. Immigrants. So people can think who that immigrant is. Okay? It could be all different. Everyone thinks it's somebody different. Anyways, do your math, people, and figure it out. That's all there is to it. The guy's terrible. He's about as smart as a bag of hammers, and that's insulting the hammers. So thank you for tuning in to this political video of why I think you should vote Liberal, and say thank you. I rather have a government that cares about everybody than a government that only cares about the few. And that's why I switched. Thanks to Stephen Harper, we no longer have progressive conservatives. I still, every day, out putting signs during this election, people say, I'm voting PC, I'm voting PC, but there's no PC. They're gone. They got rid of them. Our Alberta government is UCP, United. They're far right-wing nutcases. Look at the premier out there collecting money, kickbacks. I don't even want to talk about it. They got rid of the progressive conservatives. They got rid of progressive leaders. The Liberals moved towards the center and became the progressive conservatives because they saw the opportunity. We out here in Alberta are going to be sitting at the little boys' table again, because we're going to vote blue all the way across the board, and we won't be part of government. When we voted blue across the board and we're part of government, we got nothing. That's right. Harper did nothing for us. Absolutely nothing. And I don't know why people like the guy or even put him on TV. I guess there's, again, 27% of the population will vote conservative regardless who the person is or what they've done. Remember, quick little history lesson here for the end of the video. Nixon got impeached, was going to go to jail, resigned as president of the United States because he did illegal activities, then was pardoned so he wouldn't go to jail by the new guy. And there were still people, to this day, if they're still alive, will say he did nothing wrong. He broke the law and should have gone to jail. It's as simple as that. Everybody knows this. But there's still that portion that will always say, you did nothing wrong. Okay? Same as what's going on today. There's always a portion, regardless. But I want you to understand, if you live in Alberta and you're not voting Liberal, and $36.5 billion is going to go into our economy this year and every year for the next 70 years, I'll be long gone. Okay? And it'll still be going into our economy. This is what we need to happen. Now, can other things happen? I'm on the irrigation side of things, because if we don't have a reasonable way to produce food in our country and increase the dollar, food inflation will get worse. So get on out there and vote. So I've said my piece. I want you to vote Liberal. If you don't want to, that's up to you. And I want you to vote, though. I do want you to vote. I don't care how you're voting, because at the end of the day, we all got to get along, you guys. But if you're going to use intimidation, violence, and threats, and try to run me over while I'm putting signs up during an election, I'm a redneck. I'm going to do the same to you. But I'll be out there Monday night at 9:30 p.m. after the polls close, taking all the signs down. And unlike the Conservative Party members that are selfish and don't help out other people, I take down my candidate sign and any other sign within 10 feet. Because they all go to the same place. They're not ever reused. And I'll be out there at 9:30 taking the signs down and getting ready to move on. Because May's coming and I got carrots. So have yourself a wonderful weekend. Election day is Monday. I hope you can get out and vote. I hope you can get out and vote on Monday. Have a wonderful time. Say hello. Give somebody a ride. Help people out. And I'll see you in the future.